Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. We've got Mr. Dennis Amachree, who's a former assistant director with the SSS. He's also a security consultant. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Good morning.
Well, what drama are we seeing at the moment? But did you see this coming?
Not exactly the way it happened.
Okay.
You know,
which part? The sack of the
blockade. The blockade itself.
Okay.
This had happened before, but in a different form. Remember when they were climbing the gates? And this particular one that happened, this was really, really out of it, you know, because it was not expected.
But, you know, when you listen to the narrative there by the political advisor, he fell short of saying that it was the PDP that was giving that directive to the SSS. How could that happen?
I think that is another fake news that is trying to be feeding into society, because I don't believe that that is correct. You know, the SSS don't take directives from anybody else except the president or the acting president as we have right now. So for the SSS to take directives from an opposition party or somebody else, I don't think that is correct.
So tell us then, in context of the MO, the mode of operation of the SSS, what do you think went wrong?
I think what went wrong was, should I say, bad leadership, where the leadership of the SSS at that time was trying to, one, delve into politics, and two, trying to misread or carrying it out wrongly, because the direction that is coming, that's where they get their modus operandi. The direction has to come from the president. And if you misread it, and then actually going out of your purview by going beyond your constitutional responsibilities, then that is wrong.
But how does it play out when, yes, they get directive from the president, but in the event that, I mean, as we see lately, if the president is away, the VP becomes the acting president as required by law.
Yes.
Are there cases where you may find that the DSS boss, depending on at whatever point, may not necessarily, perhaps, you know, be favorably disposed to taking instructions from the acting president, and maybe behind the scenes seems some direct clarification or direct order from the president, even while there is an acting president?
Well, the thing is that if he does not take instructions from the acting president, that is Waterloo. And that's what has played out right now, because he cannot decide on his own. The SSS or the intelligence agency works on direction, and you cannot go outside that. And in fact, coming to think about it, you know, the leadership of an intelligence agency should know that there is what they call separation of power. And that is where we're saying that if his word is salt, even if he was directed to do that, he would have, you know, sat everybody down and then say, look, we cannot do this because it's not constitutional.
But, you know, there are many questions and conspiracy theories about what transpired, and many people, including those either in government or off government, would deny some of those cases. But do you think, or are you of the view that this singular act is enough to warrant the sack of the DSS DG?
Yes, of course, it warrants. In fact, in some areas, it could be called treason. Because what you've actually done is to go and upset another arm of government. You know, as long as you are not allowing any arm of government to operate the way it should operate constitutionally, then, you know, it could be called treason. Because actually what you're doing is upset the cart.
You know, according to the law setting of the DSS, or the SSS as the case may be, they're supposed to act based on intelligence to protect anything that would affect the nation's security internally.
Yes.
So don't you think, based on information they might have gotten, this action was taken, as in backed by the powers they have that set them up?
The information, you see...
couldn't that have been possible?
Yeah, the management of information or intelligence is very, very important here. If they have got intelligence gathered that this is going to happen or is going to affect the nation, you know where to go. You go to the president or the acting president, as in this case, and tell him, look, this is what we have collected, that this is what is going to happen. And then, look at the outcome. The vice president said that what he did was not part of, there was no instruction like that. The president is not aware of it. And then, of course, he has to be the fall guy. But if you were instructing the president that this is what we heard, and the president said, okay, go and block the National Assembly.
In that kind of situation, they can block the National Assembly?
No, you cannot, because there is separation of power. But supposedly, if he went with an information that there is something cooking in the National Assembly, and then this is what has happened, the president will not tell him to go and block the National Assembly. But whatever instruction he gives to him will mean that they are in collaboration. Do you understand? But in this particular case, the vice president said that they don't know. The guy was acting on his own. They were not aware. The president is not even aware. So that's where we find ourselves.
What makes it all the more curious, because we've seen this lately, particularly that of yesterday, where the men were hooded.
Yes.
Is that the normal practice now? And in what circumstances can that be acceptable?
That is the normal dress code for the protective services. That's the normal dress code for the protective service. Those people are called the protective services. And those are either they get involved in escorts or some of them are bodyguards and stuff like that. And the reason for the hood is that some of them might be undercover and you don't want to recognize them and say, oh, okay, you are the guy I saw at the National Assembly the other day, No. So that is normal dressing. It's not. But
the downside is that they could also be from a wrong command. Maybe not from the HQ.
No, you cannot do that kind of thing in broad daylight by hooding yourself and coming from a separate place to come.
Because if now we're told that the acting president was not aware of this entire scenario, it gives room for several speculations.
No, they came from a place, The arms they are carrying were issued legally. And the vehicles they drove down there were all legal, And it's happening in the national headquarters.
But when I did ask if this singular action perhaps warranted the sack of the DG of DSS, because clearly the acting president, perhaps your thought also very important on this one, he couldn't have unilaterally taken that decision. He would have gotten confirmation of at least compare notes with the president before this is eventually executed.
Yes. Yeah, he should have. That's what he's supposed to do. But I think this particular DG must have either gone off on a tangent where he felt that he might be a law unto himself, whereby he does not respect certain officers of the government and does things unilaterally, because it's one that was not very welcoming